Welcome to today's deep dive. So you finally decide to pull the trigger on that kitchen remodel. And immediately your brain just zeroes in on one single thing, right? The number at the bottom of the estimate.
Oh yeah. It's what we call the anchor effect. We naturally just fixate on that initial price tag. But today's deep dive into a framework from UHS Remodeling down in Dallas Fort Worth, it really illustrates why that fixation is, well, a massive financial liability for first-time renovators.
Right, because that initial number, it is almost never the final number. Let's unpack this because focusing only on the initial quote, it's like buying a cheap car without checking if the transmission actually works.
Exactly.
The sticker price just completely blinds you to the massive financial risks hidden underneath.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because the modern competitive bidding process, it basically forces contractors to bid on best case scenarios, just to win the job.
Just to get their foot in the door, right?
Right. So if you are only looking at that bottom line, you're missing the structural questions that actually dictate the final cost. Like, are they carrying adequate insurance? Is there a warranty baked into that price? What is specifically included in this scoop of work?
And
And
what is explicitly excluded, I imagine.
yes, the exclusions are usually where the budget just totally falls apart, which brings up the invisible costs.
Ah, the invisible costs, the
And
stuff that's not on paper.
exactly. Once you know who you're hiring, you have to start planning for what isn't on the paper. The standard advice for a first-timer is to take your estimated budget and immediately add a 10 to 15% buffer right on top of it.
Wait, really? Just tack on an extra 15% right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And what's fascinating here is that this buffer, it isn't there because contractors are inherently trying to upcharge you later. It's a structural necessity of the industry.
How so?
Well, when you tear into a wall, you're dealing with the physical reality of a house. You might find a wall that needs reinforcement or outdated plumbing or complete lack of insulation.
Okay, but let me push back on that for a second. Shouldn't a professional contractor, someone who has gutted 100 bathrooms, shouldn't they be able to spot that beforehand? Like, why is it always a surprise?
It's a fair point, but assuming is actually a huge legal and financial liability. Even the absolute best contractor doesn't have X-ray vision.
True.
Right, and every house settles, ages, and, hides previous DIY disasters differently. Bidding based on assumptions is exactly how projects go bankrupt.
Oh, wow. I never really thought about the contractor's risk there.
Yeah, and that is precisely why you must demand an in-person home walkthrough before signing a contract. Never accept a quote over the phone.
So an over-the-phone quote is essentially worthless?
Pretty much. The contractor has to walk through the physical space. Seeing it physically prevents costly misunderstandings on both sides.
It grounds the estimate in the actual environment.
Exactly. It shifts the conversation from this theoretical best-case scenario on a spreadsheet to the actual physical reality of your home.
Okay, so you've vetted the contractor and the exclusions. You've padded the budget for the unseen structural stuff with that 15%, and you've done the physical walkthrough. There is one final crucial step before the sledgehammer swings, right?
Yes. And it's so simple. Just take pictures
Pictures of the space, like the whole thing.
of everything. Every single room, every corner, the baseboards. It establishes a perfectly clear before comparison.
Ah, I see. So it removes human memory from the equation. If something gets damaged, you aren't arguing over whether it's already like that.
Right, it protects you by establishing that visual baseline. But it also actually helps the contractor better understand what you're going for and what needs to be preserved.
Okay, so a smart remodel really requires way more than just chasing the lowest bid. You have to verify those credentials, pad your budget by 10 to 15%, insist on an in-person quote, and document literally everything.
Spot on. And, if listeners want to dig into this more, a quick Google search for UHS Remodeling Dallas will pull up the source of these tips.
Good to know.
Following that process completely changes how you approach a project, honestly.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a final thought to ponder today. If photographing every corner of your home before a remodel is the ultimate way to protect your investment, how might thoroughly documenting your home's current state change the way you value and maintain your space today, even if you never tear down a single wall?